The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply.
Alright, so this is the Flogcast for the bye week. The emotionally checked out Tiger Starburns is here, and I'm joined by the Andrew Mackey of podcasts from St Kilda Cooksen.
We are set up for Rory Sloane September. Get hype.
Sloane Tember.
Yes.
Also joining us is the Flogcast French connection, Grille.
G'day guys, how you going?
The instigator of Collingwood's contract negotiations, Morganashlee.
Is this where I say hashtag I believe in Bucks?
Yes.
Well, I do.
And, of course, the Flogcast's #1 exporter of baby formula from Hawthorn, Penal.
They call me the Scarface of baby formula.
And making his long-awaited triumphant return, we have the Mayor of East Geelong, Teach.
G'day, fellas. I've heard it all's gone to shit, so I'm back to get you back in line.
Finals are here, and so is the Teach. We're pulling out all stops.
Check out
I'd
this
go away
pop-up
for 6
Brent
weeks.
bar.
I go away for 6 months and, oh, fuck, Geelong, we're in the finals again.
We've got the Teach back just in time for the finals. He's brought the boat back from international waters for us. So I think we'll catch Teach up with some of what's been going on a bit later, I think. But in the meantime, Goo or Tears, we'll start there. What do we got?
Ooh, I thought hard about this for this week. I'm going to have gooey tears.
That doesn't sound good.
That's conjunctivitis, mate. You better get that checked out.
Isn't there a category of porn which applies to that?
I think that's a bukkake, but I'm not sure. But not going to have gooey tears for Nick Rewalt playing kick to kick on the MCG with his son. It was just a beautiful moment.
Oh wait,
knowing
Nick had a son?
He's got 2 kids.
Yeah, but a son.
As in someone who'd be eligible to play for
Someone you can draft.
As in a male baby.
He's got 2 male babies that hopefully do not play NFL, but not in our fucking luck, they will.
Nah, that's more of a concussion game, mate. I think you're safe.
Too bad he couldn't play kick to kick with his teammates.
Oh, boom.
He did bring out a massive tour for like the last quarter, which was quite funny.
Of course he did.
It's like 1 minute to go, who cares? But gooey tears for that. It was a heartwarming moment, and a bit of goo for Jade Gresham. Kicked 5. His 4th goal was just, gave me a stiffy, but oh well.
Okay.
Well, I'm an optimist. I'm not being
Can I just
negative.
remind you lost by 49 points?
I'm well aware of that, and I'm thinking of the positives.
Okay.
Just because you're an emotional wreck
Oh, well.
doesn't mean I'm not.
So I guess where you ended on the season, Cookie, is it was a good season.
No, it was the terrible season.
The best season of
quite
football.
average.
No?
Well, I expected better, but still, be positive, be optimistic.
Positivity.
Power of positivity. Ruzi says it helps.
Apparently finishing above Hawthorn, even if it was only by 1 solitary place, made the season a success.
I have tears for spoilt brat cricketers who put their money ahead of going on an A tour, ahead of actually properly fucking having a training program and look like embarrassing themselves against fucking Bangladesh. Now, I don't give a fuck if we whitewash the Poms 5-zip this summer. If we lose or even draw this fucking series, that is a disgrace, and nothing can wipe that. Nothing
Agreed.
can clean that stain.
And there's one player in particular, David fucking Warner.
Oh.
If the pitch is not hard and flat, he is no good. He either does not have the skill or the mental strength to guts an innings out. An opening batsman is supposed to
Do what Renshaw does.
Exactly. Take the shine off the ball. Hold up an end.
Accumulate.
Oh my God. It's so frustrating. And watch, you'll hit 100 in the second innings of a meaningless dead rubber and everyone will think he's back to his top form.
In fucking Melbourne or Sydney or Adelaide or somewhere like that where it's like
Yep. Preaching to the light here, boys.
he's spending too much time watching his fucking cartoons.
And Usman Khawaja can get a whack as well. He's
Yeah,
fucking
he's
useless.
soft as butter.
That was a pathetic run out.
Yeah, that run out was shite, but I mean Bangladesh are a decent enough side now. They're not the easy beats they were 5-10 years ago. They beat.
Oh,
New
if
Zealand
you're any good,
recently.
you should still be beating them like another minnow, like the West Indies or New Zealand. High plugger.
That being said, bowlers, they keep doing that job. They deserve a pat on the back.
Yeah, the bowlers do keep doing their job.
There's nothing to defend.
Yeah, story of our last, 4 or 5 years. The bowlers do the job and the batsmen don't help them out. The bowlers have to sometimes dig them out of trouble, like today with Agar and Cummins. We'll probably still win this, but jeez.
And then it papers over the cracks. And same old shit.
Now's a good time not to care about cricket for a while.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I had tears for the journalist, I use that term very loosely, known as Mark Robinson. He's had a bad week, kids.
He's had gout. Leave him alone.
Has he actually had gout?
Whenever he's sick from 360, he's got gout.
Oh,
What the fuck?
Doesn't he have a stroke every second week?
Which kind of stroke do you mean?
I was going to say, judging by this article, he's had a very big stroke. Item 1 for the jury, his likes and dislikes for the week.
The tackle column?
Correct. Item 2 on his likes, from so-called drug cheats to playing in September. I yearn for the days where journalists are completely objective about something. There was no so-called about it. They were convicted drug cheats.
Convicted.
What?
Guiltier than bombers.
Yes. Basically, this whole narrative of Essendon being a brave comeback story and an
Inspiration.
Yeah, an inspiration.
To the downtrodden people.
It's just absurd. These guys tried to cheat. They were at very, very least, they tried to stretch the boundaries.
They did.
Yeah.
If you try to stretch the boundaries and overstep, that is cheating.
Yes, exactly right.
And that is intent. And everyone goes, no, well, they didn't know what they were doing. Yes, they knew what they were doing because they admitted as such that they were trying to go to the limit of the boundary set by Asada.
And the players went along for the ride.
Exactly. And not one player had the intestinal fortitude to say, stick it up your ass.
Harakis.
No, but he was scared of needles. And I can't believe that they have been made out to be some sort of hero out of this whole situation.
They're victims. And that's
To
what
a man.
That's what you're
To
going
a
to get
man.
from a fucking Essendon supporter.
Victims like Heretia Lumumba.
Does anyone agree with me that...
Everyone agrees with you.
But I'm not just saying it's not just a Robbo thing. Caroline Wilson with a Richmond following. John Ralph, pretty much the same. They all... should they
You're
not be
forgetting one of the
transparent?
bigger ones. Come on. We talked
Who?
about him in the pre-show.
Is it Damien Barrett being a cocked-brained fuck cunt?
Well, it's not a prerequisite for supporting North. I'm more meant Steve-O.
Steve-O.
Oh, Steve-O. Fucking Adelaide midfielder Roy Sloane did a hamstring. And now for news on Western Bulldogs. Fucking hell.
Andrew Wu.
Oh.
But can't any of these journalists be just transparent? Like, a few people that I've had this discussion with have said, chill out. It adds to the theatre. I'm going, it doesn't add to shit.
No
Well,
one
everybody
likes a
knows
cheerleader.
everyone knows that they end up studying journalism in uni when 2 + 2 = 4 gets too hard in math science. What can I do? Oh, well, give me more fucking allowance and some student allowance.
Yeah,
I'll do journalism.
It's like the old saying, those that can't do, teach. Teach.
Who else wants to go next?
I've got 3 bits of goo. A legitimate bit of goo for Sam Menegola. Oh, yeah, what a game. Fuck, he's good. Fucking
Who?
cool under pressure. Shut up, dickheads. He's just a star in the making. You just watch him turn it on in September. And then there's goo. There's goo for Collingwood for re-signing Nathan. Nathan, no flags. Gets another kick. That is brilliant. Oh, dear. I've missed
What's
that.
the other goo?
I've forgotten. I just got
Well,
to
maybe you've read a journalist because you can't fucking count.
I know I've upset you with the Nathan no flags, but that's pretty good. And then, late final goo for Melbourne. Melbourne fucking it up and choking on the eve of the finals.
Penal, I think, can go next.
I've got goo for this this news story, which is breaking news today, which reads, a Sydney mum has inadvertently fed her children pet food after she filled their school lunchbox with dog biscuits.
I love the word inadvertent.
I'm looking
And-
for the headline. Perth man inadvertently sells jar of semen mistaken as baby formula.
I don't think they'd go that far. They may say unspecified body fluid.
My Little Pony doll surrounded by unspecified body fluid. But no, this is in fact from a Facebook post. Some lady has taken to Facebook to complain to Woolworths about the dog biscuits she purchased, which she says, I put them in the lunch boxes and kids came home and said, yuck, they were disgusting. And then on closer inspection, they turned out to be dog treats. Like she had to go investigate with a microscope and discover what the actual big, 5 kilo bag of dog treats were. And at what point would she actually figure out that they are dog biscuits? Is it the giant massive dog on the carton? Or is it the fact that it says pet food only? Or is it the fact that it says supporting a healthy coat?
Well, you've got to ask what kind of food these kids were used to if they ate them without checking themselves.
Without questioning it. I do have to give credit, though. Apparently, top comment on Facebook was, oh my God, I bought these too, and now my kids are digging holes and scratching behind their ears.
They're drinking their own bath water.
This is probably fucking Bob Murphy's doing somehow.
Holy fuck. Hang on a sec, sorry. I'm just reading an article. The Herald Sun, Peter Rolfe, sports affairs reporter, has interviewed Richmond Cheer Squad president Jared Egan
Oh, this will be good.
for his thoughts on the Dustin Martin situation. It's big money in today's terms, but towards the end of the contract, it might not be. Thanks for that, Jared.
Fucking no shit.
Was it
That was the
KFC
whole.
boy?
That was the whole logic around the Buddy one, that the cap would go up one day.
Yeah.
Is that
That's interviewed Joffer, it'd be fucking front page news.
And
Joffer
that's
says
quite-
contracts is good.
Or our mate here Teach.
and how's this Starburns? This quote was put in the article before Dale Waitman's quote.
Fuck me.
Club legend Dale Waitman has a confident feeling that Martin will resign. Whatever he gets, he's worth every bit of it. Surely that's more...
No, that's
No,
boring.
we want to hear about
Audio-
random cheer
audio
squad
law from
nothing.
KFC boy.
Yeah, trout from Wood End is always good value.
Oh, is that him?
I'm
I
guessing
think it
it's
is.
Trout. Or Mario from Doncaster or KFC.
Oh, we love Mario from Doncaster. You've got to give him airtime.
But seriously, like, how fucking hard up are these dickheads to just interview cheer squad members? It's baffling for me.
Well, the footy
Anyway,
show interview
sorry.
Teach.
That's never happened to North before.
Don't start.
No,
Have they
no,
got-
the cheer squad
Great
member gets
joke.
interviewed fairly often, at the
kidding.
coaches' press conferences.
It's, the journalists tried to ring all the North supporters, but like when you've only got 14, like none of them picked up the phone that day.
Yes.
And they share a phone, don't they?
Sue's told him to fuck off, Reap.
And now doesn't it for private numbers?
Oh, what if there was an interview with Suze, though, about North? That'd be fantastic.
Called Teffy and he threatened to put a shotgun in their mouth.
Has Sue's been committed yet?
No,
No,
she's
but
still
she's-
rehabilitating from a serious injury.
Yeah, the one that she had a year ago when you were on last, the broken arm. She's still recovering from that one. Lastly, Morgs. Goo or tears?
I might have goo for the end of Melbourne season. And I was sitting out the front of the G on Saturday, and it was about, I don't know, 12:30, and it just had this air of inevitability about it. And I'm sitting there where you can't smoke, having a smoke, because get fucked. I do what I want.
Rebel.
And I thought,
I see your behaviour hasn't improved, young lady.
no, I've got to be consistent. So I thought, there's a lot of Melbourne supporters here today. This is only going to end one way. And then the game started and they didn't turn up to play. And I thought, well, this happened on Queen's birthday, but they eventually got rolling. You could just tell that they didn't want it. Like, we had no reason to put our bodies on the line. We had nothing to play for, except for the fact that we've got a bit of pride in our club, and they've got nothing. They are insipid. They are spineless. They are a soulless piece of shit football club, and this is exactly why they voted to merge, because there's no reason to keep this club alive but to disappoint the minute amount of people who have stuck by them throughout this fucking disastrous period in their history, which I've no words for that.
I mean, say what you like about Hawthorn. At least we had the dignity to vote no.
Exactly right.
I just went to Tassie instead.
These people have come out of the woodwork like you wouldn't believe. You should have seen them in the fucking MCC, like sitting there, knobheads, being
Cheese
absolute
platters.
tops with their cheese platters and their trout in their bag, fucking waiting for the scones at 3/4 time. Well, I hope the scones were good because your fucking football team wasn't.
Yeah,
And after the game, like, we won. I had a great time. It was really nice.
Fair to say you didn't put your cheese platter out in...
Well, no,
Solidarity?
I don't like cheese, so if I don't have a cheese board. I wasn't putting it outside. We'll come to what happened yesterday. So I went home Saturday night. I quickly got onto the Melbourne board and just had a read.
Vindictive.
And I didn't post and I didn't like, but I laughed. But did I laugh? They were saying they were going to win by 10 goals. And then every now and again, somebody who knew better would come in and go, I feel nervous. And there's a reason you feel nervous, because this is what you're used to dishing up. And anyway, I read that game day thread and I giggled. I giggled and giggled and giggled. And I thought, you know what? There's no way they're making finals, because Adelaide have no reason to win. And so I sat on my couch yesterday afternoon and I had the fucking best day ever. Watching the live ladder. Oh, I was in stitches. I've never supported another club as hard as I was supporting West Coast. I wasn't even supporting Sydney this hard in the grand final last year. Like, I was right every bump. Oh, like, come on. If I wanted, like, I wasn't going to go as far as to sing that shit song because it's fucking awful. But I was celebrating the win yesterday of West Coast and the demise of the Melbourne Football Club. You fucking heartless pissants.
Did a Melbourne supporter run over your cat or something?
No, my cat's fine.
You're full of fucking venom.
On that note, we will go straight into the reviews, because that was the first one we were going with. Well, Melbourne Collingwood was the first one we were going with, but the roller coaster of the percentage was lolsy in the Adelaide West Coast game, how it went up and down and up and down.
And of course it was Lewis Jetta that delivered the final blow. Like, Melbourne had like all 22 of their players not try, and then fucking Lewis Jetta chimes in, plays the game of his life, is hard at it.
Darling takes her fucking Mark running back with the flight like he was fucking Captain Courageous instead of wearing an adult nappy for once. Oh, it was just so good. Like, there were so many passages of play where you're just like sucked in Melbourne every time. And then I was obviously in Melbourne's game day thread yesterday too, because they had fun for the Adelaide West Coast game.
Bad idea.
And they're like, we're in, we're out, we're in, we're out. And then, like, people, opposition supporters kept posting in there. And I was like, I'm like, don't do it, Morgan, don't do it. I wanted to post so badly. I thought I don't mind if I lose my account for a week, just having a laugh. But I somehow found some kind of way to exercise restraint, and I just giggled secretly.
Is that the first time ever, like, a game from another club has had a dedicated game day thread?
No, there was like
No, West Coast had one. West Coast had one for the Collingwood-Melbourne game.
And West Coast had another one for like North Melbourne versus Adelaide or something like that a few years ago.
Yeah, but the West Coast one was more of a leading up to the game. it wasn't really like a live game day thread, whereas the Melbourne one was like every 5 seconds there was a post. It had like 12,000 views.
That's a bit sad.
Oh, hang on, I lied. Sorry, it had 46,000 views.
That's a lot. That's a fucking lot too.
Like, it's saying that the Christian Petrarca thread, which was made in 2015, has 69,000. Game day thread yesterday had 46,000.
Good Lord.
The Jack Watt
man.
thread only has, like, doesn't even have double.
The thing that I found most amusing is...
Not every bit of it.
No. But in that, I didn't really notice it until a little bit after we recorded, I guess. But I was thinking it leading up to the game. There was a lot of talk last week as though it was a formality that they would play finals.
Yep.
It
There was.
was just sort of like,
Yeah.
why is this being...
From
like,
esteemed AFL journalists like always balling.
yeah, like... But it was sort of like there was a lot of talk like, hey, this is locked in, like, you know, Melbourne play Collingwood and West Coast have to beat Adelaide. I'm like, yeah, sure, the mountain's high, but remember Richmond
It's
snuck in on 9 in a row a few years ago, beating the Kohlers, who finished just about close to top that year. And you know, this is Melbourne we're talking about. Stranger things have happened, particularly this year. I just can't believe the narrative that this was locked in.
And the most important thing that people were forgetting was it's Melbourne.
Mhm.
Like,
I can't...
they do
I can't
disappointment
believe that
for a
people
living.
Like, we would just kind of lay down. Like, we haven't laid down once all year. The biggest losing margin we've had is 34 points. We've been in most games. There was no way we were going to lay down.
And there's also that email that got leaked that we all saw.
The email. Oh, the email. How embarrassing.
What email?
Oh, the finals email that Melbourne sent.
This
Oh,
morning
yes,
they
yes,
sent an email to their fans. It was Nathan. It was a picture of still a Nathan Jones.
That's
Was it
right.
gone?
That's right.
Well,
Oh,
It was gone,
I
wasn't
was
it? Yeah.
gone,
Wasn't
wasn't
that one after 11 years we're back or something?
Oh, it's like finals ticketing arrangements or something like that.
Nick Minute.
It's hilarious, really. And look, I don't know what else there is to say about that game itself, but it's so Melbourne.
I just want to know where maximum Gornage is.
Oh, he's bleak. But
He just wants to know,
takes it pretty well.
did that result make you moist? But I think we know the answer.
You better believe it did.
Oh,
But
It wasn't,
not as moist as your cheeks from all the tears, Gornage.
wasn't it the
Gornage.
slimmest percentage that a side had missed out on finals on ever?
Yep.
since like I don't know,
Western Bulldogs in
46.
1955.
oh, yeah, something like that.
Wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah, wah.
Does this mean Melbourne are going to wait like 61 years for the next flag? Because if so, I can get behind this.
But I mean, yeah, like going back to even throughout the season, they were just so up and about, and you know, starting to lecture teams on how to be competitive and things like that. Or at least their fans were.
I remember this one Friday night. I think it must have been the Sydney game where Tom Bugg went mental. There was sort of a special pre-game roaming Brian in the MCC where he went around to all the MCC Melbourne supporters and basically all of them were talking up top four.
Oh, fuck.
So I would have liked
Top
to see
four.
a repeat of roaming Brian in the MCC. But
Well, you won't stand turn up anymore, so they've gone from top 4 to 9th Melbourne. Oh,
I
suck.
thought they only turned up for the cheese platters and they didn't even notice whether they won or lost.
Oh man, like you'd feel sorry for them if they weren't just a pack of entitled pricks.
yeah, it's good for a pack of arrogant asshole supporters to get a smackdown once in a while.
You'd just rather have a wooden spoon than to go through that bullshit.
I suppose one thing you can say about it is, in a season where there's been upsets and unpredictability, it's always a bit reassuring that, you know, some things do always remain predictable.
This was the most predictable thing of the season.
Yeah.
What I really liked about it was when Melbourne missed out on finals. I don't know. I don't know if that had come across just yet, but I wanted to clarify. I like
Do you
the
know
part
what is
Christian
coming
Petrarca
across?
won't be playing in the finals.
Do you know what is coming across, Morgan, is that you seem to hate Melbourne more than you hate Western Bulldogs, and I didn't think that was humanly possible.
No, that's not true.
Oh, okay.
But no one wants to hear that every day. This is new. This is exciting. It's fun.
This is the second album.
Reveling in
It's
new
like, you know
misery.
what? Sometimes you just got to spread out the hatred. I got a bit secure too. Hey, anyone else sick of the whole, Melbourne and Secure are coming, but they're still not playing finals?
Yeah, they're coming like Carlton were a few years ago,
They're
I
not
guess.
coming.
Next we'll smell what they're cooking.
They're exactly where they deserve to be, and that's not playing in September.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about some good teams.
Yeah, well, we will. West Coast Eagles, who
Yeah.
are now playing finals.
Yeah, we're still talking about shit teams.
No, West Coast. We're talking about West Coast.
That's
we're
what I
still
just said. We're talking about shit teams.
No, they beat the Crows.
Don't just come back here and expect us to talk about your fucking team that we don't like.
I've
Yeah,
been on for 15
you're-
minutes. Can't we get
You're
fucking
a
talk
shit-
about
your-
Geelong?
your team is shit. You have a couple of superstars and a bunch of shit trucks
And a cheat ground.
and a cheat ground.
Besides,
Yeah,
no one
we'll
listens
find
to
out.
fucking pop-up sprinklers anyway.
And zinger giveaways.
Morg says Gornage only comes on after a win. Teachers only come on after a top 2 finish.
Well, that means I come on every year because it keeps happening.
Fucking hell.
Hey, no wonder he was went missing in the 2015 final series.
Yeah, I had a convenient holiday that year.
So on West Coast and Adelaide, it was a bizarre game. And West Coast, you know what for once they didn't flat track it. Although the Crows didn't have anything to play for really, they still probably did their job. I think.
Yeah.
They had a job to do, and they went out and did it. Other teams take note.
Would have been
Really
convenient.
strike me as a great game.
Oh no, it was entertaining as shit.
It was entertaining. Like it was.
They had a percentage ladder down the bottom corner of the screen.
Lewis Jetta inspiring his team with rundown tackles. Come on, that shit just doesn't happen normally.
It's Bizarro World, the game.
I'm not being racist, but is there anything better than seeing Indigenous people chase other Indigenous people? Very.
Especially when Lewis gets away from Cyril and Cyril cracks the sads and pushes him over at the end.
No,
of
when
it.
Lewis chased Charlie Cameron and caught him and kicked it out on the full, that was great. He hasn't done it for 3 years.
According to the Fremantle corporate box squad, seeing the cops chase Daniel Pearce.
Oh, is that what they said? Is that what was said?
Oh no.
You got to be a certain type of scum club for your own supporters to racially abuse your own player.
Our own players racially abused our own players.
Liar of the year, I think.
No. Someone said that they saw the doco, and in the doco, Nick Maxwell verifies what he says.
What, did he point to it on a whiteboard? That doesn't count.
I don't know.
Point out the man who racially abused Heretia in a team photo.
Point to where they touched him.
Oh, Heredia.
It's got nothing to do with him being black. It's got all to do with him being a fuckwit.
Yeah, exactly.
When you turn your own girlfriend into a lesbian, you're going to have to start taking some self-reflection.
You know, that's happened before. Like, I think my first boyfriend was gay. And that wasn't my fault. He was just always gay. Because you don't turn people gay. People are just gay. But
Well, I think Heretia would be enough to put someone off men forever.
Well,
no,
could expedite the process.
he would put me on oxygen. That's how much he's dislikable.
Well, good
But,
because he thieves enough of it.
But, I mean, if you truly believed that your boss was emotionally unintelligent, how do you expect telling him that he's emotionally unintelligent go down?
I had a conversation with my boss today, and he said he finds it difficult when he has to consider people's feelings. And I thought, I won't say anything to that. I like to keep my job. Now you talk about, I should have just said, you're emotionally unintelligent. You fuck me.
Then you could make a doco.
Then everyone can read my doco. And then maybe on the way
And
home,
we could
someone
just-
like shiv me and, yeah. Oh, shit.
How did we get from Harry to home and away at work?
Right, because that's what
Right,
this is Harry's life story.
That's-
He lived all this.
This is Harry's life story. Because Harry got picked on.
Workplace bullying victim.
Oh, he's just screaming for an axe to the head, isn't he?
No,
Yeah.
a gun to the head, clearly.
No, we've been there. We know what that goes.
Anything else on West Coast Adelaide?
Ah, great game. Great result. See you later, Subiaco. It's a
Yeah.
good story.
It's good that stadium's getting retired. I can give it a tip. It is an absolute pig of a ground.
It is a tip. More of
Oh,
a tip than
it's so
Dingley.
Like the second worst ground in the AFL, ahead of only Kardinia Park.
What's wrong with it?
Oh, it's hard to explain. It's just a shit feeling.
Half the seats are fucking
Wooden benches.
wooden benches that are the most uncomfortable things, and that if you sat if you came across those benches at a local park, there would be all sorts of lawsuits claiming that they're unsafe.
Kind of like the old VFL park seats. From
More or
back in the
less.
day.
Except it's not as cold.
Typical sort of ending to this sort of season where teams have choked out of nowhere. The most unpredictable things have happened that a team could actually miss out by 0.5% in the last quarter of a game.
If there was anything to say about this round, it certainly wasn't average or shit.
No, it was not.
Because real clubs played with heart and pride, and shit clubs didn't.
Well, speaking of playing with heart and pride, I think we'll move on to the retirees, and in particular, the man with the most heart in the AFL, of course, Bob Murphy, clearly.
I thought we were talking about Matthew Boyd. He's got a hell of a lot to answer for.
Who?
Fucking Bob Murphy.
Hmm?
Oh, fucking Drew Morford had to sit through that and thought, nah, fuck this.
Yeah, Charlie.
Jeez.
Oh dear. He's your ugly spinster auntie, Bob Murphy.
Oh, I get it.
What's your
He
auntie?
looks like an
It was pretty lolsy in that game. Like, I didn't actually see the finish of this game, but I heard about it. So is it true he actually blazed away and fucking
Oh,
almost
yes.
cost them the game in the last
He
couple
had
of
the
minutes?
chance to get his team within a kick. He had 3 men inside 50 everywhere. All he had to do was pass it off, and they would have been within a kick and possibly keeping their finals hope still alive. But no, he tries to blaze away from 60, kicks it out on the full, doesn't even get
obviously-
close.
In fairness to Bob, though.
You listened to
no
us last week.
sentence should ever start with fairness.
Yeah,
to
exactly. We discussed this last week, didn't we? Is that what you're saying, Grille?
Yeah.
We said that players needed to be more selfish. At least Bob's trying to listen to us and make himself a better footballer, even if it was his last game.
It's too late to make yourself a better footballer. You're an average or shit footballer.
The thing
Well,
is,
he got
Bob
chaired
has
off.
always been selfish, and it was just such a fitting end for a selfish footballer to go out in that way, you know, missing the goals by about 40 metres, trying to get the glory for himself. Like, he was already imagining the headlines, his face all over the papers the next day.
Oh, single-handedly drags his team back to the finals. Oh, it's a fucking modern miracle. Vomit.
What
a
if you get
fairy tale
canonised?
this was for Bob. This is my fairy tale ending for you, Bob. Oh, God, I'm going to have the best sleep tonight.
What else we got on this game?
Oh, I
Hodge
thought
didn't
that
snipe anyone, which was
Hodge
disappointing.
didn't snipe anyone. I thought that Gibbo developed some humility out of nowhere and
Really?
didn't try and hog the limelight, didn't get chaired off with the others. Like, he didn't play, but still, he's had a decent career.
And there's plenty of players who didn't play who get chaired off, like in that situation.
Yeah, but he's the sort of player that if he did play would deserve a chairing off, I think.
Yeah, but
He's the kind of player, if he did play, he would have demanded a chair off.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at
more to the point.
Ooh, salty cheers.
Oh, come on, let me say
Which
that.
sad as fuck player did you get in exchange for him?
Aaron Black?
No, that was for David Hale.
Either way, it didn't work out well for you.
No, it's not.
Anything else on this game?
Boyd had a very good last game. Out of all the guys that, ended,
Looked like he could still keep going.
I wouldn't go that far, but, really good game to have if that's going to be your last game of AFL footy.
I just want to punch Bailey Dale in the face repeatedly.
Why?
He does have a very horsey face.
I just want to punch him in the face. No idea why.
He's not the one you want. James Sicily. Fair
I was going
dinkum.
to say, like,
Yeah, he's also a punchable face.
This was their last game. One of them really should have fucking just annihilated him.
Oh, how good was his goal though? And then the
Easy.
celebration to
Nah,
back it
wanker.
up. Oh,
Dead set wanker.
just delightful. I loved it. So glad we've re-signed him.
I'm so glad he'll never play in a flag.
He looks like the special kid from a Hitler Youth squad.
I need to give fucking Bontempelli a whack because he's just out there having a sook every game and trying to umpire the game himself. Like, I think he's just upset that he's been overtaken as the best Italian in the AFL by none other than James Sicily.
Was he a fascist too?
that was terrible, Penal. That was fucking junk.
He has taken to a fair bit of pointing and umpire begging for freebies.
He is just
He's
as
the
much
new
of a
Goddard.
flog as anyone out there, Bontempelli. He's annoying.
He's a dodgy Jason Gillespie lookalike.
And yeah, if his nose,
Nice pick, Cookie.
if his nose wasn't already fucked up beyond all recognition, it's the sort of nose that you just want to hit and break.
Yeah.
It is quite a... It's the Basil's Impala's nose. He's probably related to Basil.
That's how they say it over in Perth. Impalas.
I've never bothered to learn how to speak his name.
Quite clearly.
Anything else on this game?
Just a tragic shame that we won't get to see Luke Hodge again. Just truly one of the all-time greats and an ornament to the game.
Yeah, and I for one am sad about this as a road user. That there'll be more of this man out in an everyday drinking, driving, ramming pedestrians into telephone poles.
That's implying Luke Hodge will be, thin enough to drive. He's going to become a fatty and he's going to have a mobility scooter.
Well, since
Well, at
you
least-
mentioned mobility scooters, let's go to Essendon versus Fremantle. And there was only one thing out of this game worth discussing.
Yes.
Is if we needed any further proof that Essendon supporters are scumbags. Like, are we certain it wasn't James Hurd that tweeted this out?
Oh, God, it's so bad.
Just, how is that? Like, fucking hiring a mobility scooter just to get a better seat on the cheap. Fuck me.
That's fucked.
Like, I almost admire the ingenuity, but at the same time, there's a reason no one else considers this.
It's called decency.
It sounds
Yeah.
like
Kind of-
something listen to supporters
Like,
would
if
do.
it was James Sicily, obviously he could use the mobility scooter because, as Teach said, but surely we've got more on this.
I would have hoped that the guy tweeted it from his seat, and then people found out, and they
And
went like,
pushed
that
him out
episode
of it.
Yeah, well,
What if
like
they
that
turned around and
episode
pushed Ron
Seinfeld?
Cunt out?
It'd be like it's like the scene from The Big Lebowski where it's like pushing him out the wheelchair and saying, "This guy walks, believe me."
Or the Seinfeld episode when they were chasing George down the pavement in the cars.
Oh, thank you. That's where I was going.
It was apparently some guy on Reddit.
Yeah, I guess the unfortunate thing is that most people probably wouldn't have seen it. If they were at the game, they wouldn't have seen it till after the game, so they wouldn't have been able to mete out justice
It's a
by
shame.
rearranging that bloke's face.
Well, you know how it would have ended. There would have been some poor sucker who actually needed a mobility scooter, had the shit bashed out of him.
Yeah.
But,
It's just, like, to take that kind of cynical view of the world, I guess, it's just, oh my God, it's just disgusting.
Are you sure though that it was actually a supporter and not perhaps former player Ariel Steinberg?
I appreciate your sheer audacity of it, but come on, man, feel the room. Don't be a dick.
Fair dinkum. Just, I can tell based off this that this person was a James Hurd supporter. That is the complete lack of consideration of anybody else that comes from the narcissism of that man and the Veruca assault attitude of that football club.
Anything it takes.
Could you think of any? Maybe Carlton would be the only other club I think that someone would do this for, but they'd probably come up with a white collar way of doing it.
The guy didn't tweet that he was surprised to be sitting there or shocked to be sitting there, did he?
Nice.
Do we have anything else out of this?
Freo kind of came at him and it sort of looked like half a sneaky, but
Yeah.
it was just typical of their season. It was just a half-assed go at it and they just fucking gave up.
Yeah, and Essendon won, and they sort of only just fell in. But where was the fucking sense of inevitability that they were going to make the eight? Like, it was all Melbourne's going to make the eight. Essendon were probably in as good a spot as anyone with the way Freo had been playing, and yet...
Yeah, if they'd lost, they would have probably been out. It wouldn't have mattered if the Eagles won by whatever margin.
Yeah, and it was just sort of like no one was talking up Essendon as a certainty. Yet Melbourne.
I guess that just showed where Freo were at. Because obviously they had Gold Coast and Freo in the last two rounds, and it was just kind of assumed that Essendon
Couple of
would
easy kills.
get it
you know.
done just because those two clubs are utterly hopeless.
So basically, the only reason they made finals is because they had a piss easy.
I noticed that Brent Stanton retired. Did they cheer him off?
No, they booed him off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, but how could they have done that with Job there? They would have been very conflicted at that particular stage. Boo earns.
Oh, Job's gonna get cheering off next week. Fuck me.
Why? Why are you upset
They're
about
gonna
that? Haven't St Kilda been cheering Nick Grille off for fucking 4 weeks?
Well, they did it for Lenny Hayes
Ground.
at 10. Remember the Lenny farewell tour?
Yeah, and I didn't like that, but Lenny Hayes at least didn't inject himself full of drugs.
Well, I don't think Job did either. He let someone else do that. But
It didn't protect his players.
no.
Yeah, but he'll get cheered
Worst
off in
leader
Sydney
ever.
where he'll be mocked.
Nobody in Sydney will know. They'll
Exactly.
just
They won't know
clap.
who he is. They're all too busy seeing, is Kenny in the rooms? I want to see Kenny
They,
sing
they
the
don't follow
Kenny.
AFL well enough to fucking know who Job Watson is or what horrible things he's done because Andrew Wu only writes articles about Sydney.
Isn't Kenny dead?
What?
No?
He was there on Saturday.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say, it's in the room.
Oh, well, I thought he was in the crowd until Gary Rowan fucking landed on top of him.
Gary
Did you
Rowan.
see him
Gary
going over
Rowan
the
doesn't weigh that much. He has no soul.
Gary Rowan went all the way over the fence and was gone for a good 5 seconds. I was like, he's dead.
You killed Kenny, you
because
bastard.
Gary Rowan's known for being dead.
Mavis is making arrangements.
I was like, oh, shit. Oh, my God, you killed Kenny.
You know, if Kenny and Bob Murphy were in a grand final, who would attention whore the most?
Oh, Kenny.
That's a
Come
good
on.
question.
At least Bob played in the fucking game.
No, Kenny hasn't tried to steal anyone's medal. He just wants to sing the fucking song.
Yeah, that's for
That is
the
true.
that's for the players in their first game. But no, Kenny has to sit in the middle. Fucking, they can't have a Gatorade shower because they might fucking drown him or something.
I reckon his hair would still shine white in a dark room.
Do you reckon if he tied his hands behind his back, he'd be able to sing this song? Because he can't.
His
I don't
mouth
reckon
would
he
work.
could. I don't reckon he
I didn't
could.
realise he was
He's like,
Italian.
He's like a wind-up doll.
He has to go with the hands, you
If the
know?
hands aren't moving, you can't actually get the lungs going.
He's a very touchy-feely kind of guy, is old Kenny.
Whilst we're on this, I think it's time we segue to the Carlton Colas game.
Buddy Franklin outscored them.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time he did that to a team. But I think the most interesting thing here is, did anybody see, what's his name, Hayward's game?
3 kicks, 3 goals.
Oh, he kicked 3 goals with his 3 kicks, did he?
Yes.
Ah, so that's why he got a Rising Star nomination with 3 kicks.
Oh, you're joking.
No, I'm not.
Nope.
I'm not.
Three.
Did every other good new player into the game have an absolute shit game this week or something?
It makes all the wanking over Cyril getting 6 touches seem reasonable in comparison.
They probably had exhausted all the good players to give nominations to. Was anyone really robbed?
Well, they could have picked some random Carlton player again.
Morgs,
could've
I know
given
you don't
Josh
like Ryan
Dacos.
Clark.
If they gave it to
Brandon-
Ryan Clark, I would fucking smash everything in my house,
Now, that would be worth seeing.
No,
including my North Melbourne supporting boyfriend. He'd cop it too.
I know you don't like the guy, Morgs, but I was surprised to read during the week he was averaging 25 and a half touches a game since round 18 when he came back in the side. He's ranked...
Rockcliffe averages like 30 a game, but he's no good.
Yes, Sam
But
Gilbert gets
Lewis
the ball. That
Taylor.
doesn't mean
But
anything.
So that's like 5 rounds. It's not like
listen with your ears and not
Take
with
it
your
to
mouth for
the
a
take it
change.
to the North board.
That's like Jack Watts leading intercept marks from rounds 8 to 11. One year.
Okay, no worries,
defending
no
the
worries.
indefensible.
Ranked 7th amongst Rising Star eligible players in total effective disposals.
Handballs.
Wank, wank, wank.
You know what
Oh.
I got new tears. Braden Farini did not get a Rising Star nom, and he was arguably one of the best youth.
Fiorini.
Whatever his
He's,
name is.
he's your boy for some reason.
Yeah, it's sort of... You're going to kill his career, Cookie.
Eh.
I'm
Better
just
predict a
saying,
Brownlow for him.
that probably is better form than 3 kicks.
I want to see what Jack Graham got, because he's been pretty good these 2 weeks since he came in. He's
Who
still
gives a
eligible
fuck?
next year.
Dacos had 12 touches. Give it to him fucking
God.
4 times.
I've got a question about this game. What's going on down at Carlton? Are they feeding their players down there? They look like matchsticks with the wood scraped off.
They played their grand final last week, and we're always going to dish this up.
Don't you know they're just all youth teach? They've had like 12 Rising Star noms this year, and they won't have the winner.
They look like they're 12 years old.
No, you're right. Good call, Teach.
Brandon
I
Bolton
agree.
doesn't want anyone bigger than him at the club. Strict diets.
Small man syndrome.
Well, you
Fluffy
learnt
nose
from the
with
master
height.
in that respect.
I think we can all find a Rising Star eligible player at our clubs who got more than 3 fucking kicks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the only reason why I brought Ryan Clark up.
No, you just wanted to defend him because you know he got attacked last week. And
It's defensive virtue.
There is not a stat you can give me that's going to make me think he's any good. I could land a
That's fine.
fucking 787 on his forehead. It's fucking huge.
Jack Graham, 18 disposals, 7 tackles and a goal. Give it to him.
Jacob Townsend,
Not eligible.
not eligible.
No, he was at the Giant. He's like 23.
Honestly,
Yeah, he was a Giants foundation player, so he's probably even older
but
than
these 2 games are his first 2 games, yeah?
that for the year. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he
How
played a
about,
couple last year for Richmond,
Can we
about
talk
30
about
at the
how
Giants.
Starburns didn't want him to play?
Yeah, 11 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, well, skiing. Let's see what happens against a real team in the finals. Bet you he does. This is just built up to happen this way. He's kicked 11 goals. I bet he doesn't touch the ball 11 times in our 2 finals.
Was Martin McGrath the guy that kicked like 6 goals in his first game and then got delisted?
I don't think he got delisted that year, but yes. Yeah, I think it took 2 years, but yeah. John Butcher sort of coasted off that first 3 weeks of his career for about 5 years.
Jason Tutt.
Oh, history's littered with them.
Anything else on this game? Can't think of anything except Buddy outscored him and that they gave a sympathy nom in the Rising Star. Just another handout for the Colders.
What about that backheel goal by Buddy? What a tin ass that was. They were just falling out of the sky for him.
He does love beating up on Carlton.
He does.
Who does?
Good point.
Hawthorn.
So much for Liam Jones being the greatest defender of all time.
Yeah, that's just like these one and done players with their goal kicking bags. Liam Jones.
Just like fucking the thought of Jed Lamb being fucking any good at football lasted a grand total of 1 week in history.
But
and
that
then it
said,
was
I
over.
don't think when
I think that's just a Jed thing. Is there a Jed that's good at football?
I'm not sure.
Silence.
I can't think of any Jeds other than Adcock,
There are
and I'm
no
not about to
Jeds
bat
that
for
are good
him.
at football.
Jed Adcock, Jed Hughes,
Jed
Jed
Anderson.
Anderson, Jed Lamb.
Oh,
all
I've got Jed
shit.
Hughes. He's had a fucking beauty of a
No,
year.
he's shit. His
fuck,
name's
man.
Jed. He's shit.
Oh, if Jed Hughes stood up right now in the middle of my lounge room, wouldn't know who he was.
And you go, what the fuck are you doing in that?
Be like, why is this cunt in my lounge room?
He's less recognisable than Sam Menegola.
Liam Jones being an elite defender is literally the same as Ryan Clark's last 5 weeks. Jack Watson set Mark Telly. It's going to be this footnote in his career at the end of.
He's pretty goofy looking. He looks like he's just walked out of an Alabama swamp.
What about Dale Thomas? Scott?
I think they're keeping him, aren't they? I heard they were going to give him a deal, but at low.
Yeah, because he waived the rights
Yeah,
to
and
the other
they
contract.
can't, like, as if they can do better. They don't owe him ones games, like, fair dinkum. We could probably go through their list and find some genuine shit trucks on there.
Reece Palmer.
You could find some genuine good players too, but they'll probably just trade them.
Especially to kick goals. Who wants Kerno?
Oh, see you later, Levi.
Oh, that's a possibility too.
Oh no, that's happening.
Let's move on from that game to North avoided the spoon. Anything on this?
Yeah,
Oh,
club to pride, don't lose games.
Brisbane had a go too. Like, they got out to an early lead and then they sort of just got overrun. So they wanted it. They just weren't good enough in the end. They're probably...
Dave
Like I said,
Zorko is
like-
still a gun. He's still one of the best players to watch, in my opinion.
But I mean, the whole tanking talk, like I've said a couple of
wank.
times, absolute bullshit. Like,
No club tanks ever since what happened to Melbourne. And
Yeah,
still is happening to
realistically.
Melbourne.
realistically, that pick hopefully will get traded anyway to get Kelly, if it happens, which is probably remote. But if not, we're still going to get a very, very good player with pick 4. Doesn't matter. Pick
No.
one-
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you
It's one
might get
spot
a
in the
very
draft.
good
It's
player.
one spot in the draft order.
You might get a good player. You might get the next Ryan Clark.
You might get the next Graham Polak.
Oh, he got hit by a tram. Injury trolling
Still
again
wasn't
more.
any good before he got hit by the tram.
Didn't
Look,
Ruffy
yeah.
go at number 4, Starburns?
Nah, Tambling was number 4 that year. I remember very well.
Even
Tambling
because
picked
he had
number
more
4.
awareness, he never got hit by a tram. Just yeah.
wasn't. Yeah, I read something about pick 4. Generally, some decent players.
Pick 6 is the bad one.
Pick
Yeah, that's
6 is
right, yeah.
cursed.
Yeah.
You get pick 6, you trade it for
That's
anything.
probably why we traded it for that shit truck, Prestia.
Yeah, that's Collingwood, I guess, with pick 6 this year. So
Oh,
Trade.
fucking sick.
There's nothing else on North versus Bryans. We're well and truly in the games that don't matter right now.
Oh,
Ben-
Ben Brown, 7 goals. Pretty
Should
good
be all
season.
Australian.
Elite season.
Yeah. Do you know
Yeah.
that is the highest total of goals kicked by a North Melbourne player since Carey kicked
In
60?
2000.
Yeah. So that's
What
pretty
about
good.
Downhill Drew?
No.
No, like somebody said that
Pick 6.
It's
Pretty
somebody
fucking sad if you got to hang your season on that.
Maybe Drew would have kicked more if you had like fucking 12 teams miss the finals each year instead of 10.
This week had the air of Richmond falling over too, just like Melbourne. It didn't happen, but somehow we managed to put ourselves in a straight sets position.
Richmond were very good. We got destroyed in the midfield. That's it.
Yeah, and St Kilda are pretty shit too.
I actually didn't watch us play this week, so I can't add anything. I haven't watched the game yet. I'll watch it at the weekend when there's no football to watch because of fucking bye week.
Well, it serves you right for not watching it.
What? The bye week's going to be there whether I don't watch it or not.
No, this is your karma.
preordained colour.
I was actually on a plane and Morgs didn't cancel it, so thank you, Morgs.
Because I don't cancel flights anymore, guys.
Would you have gone back to the old stomping ground if Melbourne were playing finals in the States?
Oh, no. Because, well, my new job now is in scheduling. So someone came over to us today and was like, oh, any chance we can put on some extra flights for finals, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no.
Get out.
Fuck those Essendon supporters.
Yeah, exactly right. It was for the Essendon supporters. Like, we need some more Melbourne, Sydney services on Saturday. I was like, nope, we have no aircraft. They're not going.
They'd all try and skim you up by going for
extra.
disability seats anyway or something.
No, but you better believe that we've jacked up the prices to the full fare, and you can pay through your nose, suckers.
But
No.
being Essendon supporters, they'll find a way to fucking try and claim disability pension and scam the cheap airfares or something.
That's all right. Maybe they could take turns in riding their scooters up the highway.
Scooter train, scooter convoy.
Oh, God.
Oh, hey, Wingu was a pick six.
Well, it's not all a pick six.
No, it is. Matt Scharenberg, fucking turd.
Well, you mentioned Wingu, so we'll go to how shit were the Suns.
Their lowest score.
The
ever.
lowest scoring shot since like 1965 or some bullshit.
Disgusting. And Gazza pulled
Seriously.
out late, which just
Pity
seems like
that.
what a rabble they are.
Yeah, couldn't run, but could run through the car park. Fucking lying little...
Liar of the year. Morgs, you need to make a
What
list.
the fuck? He is a filthy little weasel.
Yeah.
Talk about having
He is
no fucking heart, no soul, and fucking standing for nothing. That little fucking bald prick is everything that exemplifies Melbourne. He should go there.
He's an absolute turd of a human, and I don't know what pisses me off more, the fact that A, he's an absolute turd of a human, or B, the fact that the two games that he actually decided to show up and try in this year were against Hawthorn.
I think that's more to the point, Penal. I think you've got a fair bit of ring sting there.
Well, speaking
Oh,
of
here he
sting,
is. Here he
fucking
is. Defending
2000
all things fucking holding.
He didn't used to. I reckon we can go back and find some fairly critical teachers, and I couldn't give a flat flying fuck about him, was a direct quote, I believe. It's amazing that he seems to have backflipped on him.
Oh, well, he left us for money, but, you know, the money that he left us with, we got danger, so it's all good.
This wouldn't have anything to do with you looking at getting back.
Oh, well, if he comes back, he'd come back for nothing.
But he's
He'll be
not going
fine.
to come back for nothing. He's going to come back for 500k, and you'll lose a player and pay him.
Probably only.
I didn't know that you were on the board, Morgs. Oh, well, I should come to you
He's
for
on
the news,
Collingwood's
Morgs.
board. She signed their coaching
I am.
extension.
Head of security.
And on that note, I think we'll move on
Bit
to
of
the
something.
talking points, and we'll begin with Fig Jam getting extended.
Hooray!
I'm sorry, is something funny, Teach?
I don't know.
Big
Maybe
Jam
the fact-
getting reappointed.
you should be upset by that, considering you struggle so hard to beat her.
He's so fucking terrible, though. As a coach, I mean, he's shit.
If he's so terrible, why does he beat your side all the time?
Oh, I don't know. But, yeah, but at least you can go to your boys were able to go to the pub today off the back of his coaching.
Longer holidays.
Yeah.
This is
Who wouldn't want? That's better working conditions.
So I like how they consulted Scott Pendlebury on the decision, and he said yes, big thumbs up. So maybe he likes Buckley's hands-off style that doesn't force him to play accountable football. Morgs?
Not biting, get fucked. Why can't we just celebrate Nathan Buckley getting a contract extension without talking about that fuckhead?
Well, because it's
Which
funny
fuckhead?
because it just plays into that this is a very strange decision. Like, and I'm not a sorted Buckley hater, but certainly I think the track order.
Why is it such a strange decision when it's the same decision your stupid club made last year?
Because our stupid club was wrong to make that decision.
As
because they're a
proof-
super
But
club.
why did you sign him for? The thing that baffles me is
Because why would you sign him for 1 year and have the same thing happen next year?
the same thing's going to
the
happen
second
next
half
year,
of
no
the
matter
year
how
he's
you
been probably one of
go.
the best coaches.
The same thing's going to
Oh,
happen no matter what you do.
I suppose they can afford to pay him out once they sack him, so it doesn't matter for Collingwood.
Well,
Yeah,
now
they're
they have the
hedging their
football
bets.
department tax, so Eddie will whinge. Eddie won't be there because clearly, if Buckley gets sacked, that'll be it for Ed. But
Eddie will whinge, correct. Eddie will whinge about that tax for the rest of his life.
just put him on the fucking Brendan Bolton salary. No one's going to poach him. Like, speaking of dumb journalists, who thought that anyone was going to poach Nathan Buckley? Fuck's sake! I don't know who started that rumor, but that's ridiculous.
Probably Sam McClure.
I don't know. Port Melbourne are looking for a coach, aren't they?
Oh, you'd take Gary Ayres over Fig Jam.
Fucking oath you would.
But no, I'm not a Buckley hater. But this just doesn't. None of this whole thing seems like a mess. And they grilled him on the couch. I saw part of it tonight. Eddie Maguire on it, and he couldn't even list the definitive reason why they actually appointed him. The interview was actually reading between the lines a fair mess.
Oh, what reason could you have to? I think, look, it's the vibe of it. That's it.
Yeah, that's literally it's the
But I
vibe
think
of
he's
it.
actually been quite
So
a
you're
good
making
coach in the
coaching
second
appointments
half
on
of the
Dennis
year.
Denudo logic.
Uh-huh.
Ah.
Well, it's better than making coaching appointments on Rod Butter's logic.
At the end of the day, when you want something to work so badly, you're going to exhaust every reason to keep it going.
But you support this decision.
I know, because I am an idiot.
Yeah,
But do you
I-
think he's
I
been
am,
that
I am
bad?
very aware that this is an emotional decision on my part to want him to stay.
You know what I was thinking today
Oh,
with this extension? Collingwood has just dipped their toe in the Kool-Aid waters today.
No.
And let's see if
I
they
don't
take the
know.
plunge in the end.
Explain, Starburns.
Fingers in the ears, eyes closed, la 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 la.
You cannot compare us
I
to
said
them.
dipping the toes in the waters. There's
No,
a fucking
no.
ocean of Kool-Aid and you just dip
When
your
you
toes.
dip your toe into an ocean of Kool-Aid, if you're going to compare the two, you'd want to have something more than just, oh, he didn't win games. Not that he brought the game into disrepute by
It's
creating a
it's
fucking...
the blind faith element. You like to make the argument that fucking Orazio Fantasia wouldn't be good about if his name was John Smith. Well, if his name wasn't Nathan Buckley, he wouldn't be your coach.
Oh, I've got no doubt about that.
So that's basically the Kool-Aid mentality. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, serious for a minute. If they didn't reappoint him, who do you think they would go after?
Brad Scott.
You find me a better option, and then we'll talk.
But we don't know what the better options are. But I'd probably be inclined to say Fat Boy Stewie Jew.
No, we can't afford that fucking food bill.
You've got plenty of money. You got a Mac. You
We
got two
just got
Macs
rid
in
of Travis
Collingwood.
Cloke, big eating cunt. Fucking eat all feeling.
No, but I mean, to be honest, like Nathan Buckley has been pretty decent in the box, at least the second half of this season. He's
No,
obviously had.
No. Don't, Grille, don't stick up for us because that doesn't fit with the agenda that Starburns wants to push
No,
here.
well, let's look at this from an
No, let's-
unbiased
Let's
unbiased
not
point of
we've
view.
got the lowest losing fucking margin of anyone. The fact that we've been competitive in every game. The fact that
All right,
we've
shut up,
by
Hawks. Go
34
on, Penal.
They're clearly going to try the Richmond model, which is clean out the assistants, clean out the footy department, and then try again next year with the same coach at the helm, but with a different team around him. It may work, it may not. We won't know till next year. They might look like geniuses this time next year.
It's
Yeah, no.
assistants are like you need to have the right ones because Aaron Hamill's done a fucking shit job for us, and
Robert
Yeah.
Harvey.
he's a terrible
Oh,
bird.
if you ask the Carlton board how they feel about John Barker, they wouldn't be giving him a job anyway.
Yeah, yet somehow he's a front runner.
They fucking hate him. They can't wait till he leaves.
That's my disbelief that Jade Rawlings keeps getting jobs.
I think Barker's assistant coach period at Hawthorn coincided with 2009 and 10.
Oh,
Anything else on Fig Jam?
good on him.
I thought it was funny that he didn't answer his phone when Eddie called 3 times. So Eddie had to tell Bucks twice.
Yeah, he was on to Pena.
Can you imagine the heartbreak that he would be feeling at that stage? If Buckley's not picking up the phone. Nathan, it's not the end. It's just...
When Buck said he was screening his calls, there was like a little pang of disappointment in Eddie's eyes. Oh.
You could see the exact moment where his heart breaks in
Oh.
two.
One thing I do want to bring up about that presser, Eddie Maguire using the old make Collingwood great again.
Oh, yes.
Oh, doesn't he fucking
Oh,
love
Yes,
If
that's the
I-
president you want to be emulating.
If I could have done photoshopping, I would have made the hat, made Collingwood great again, but I'm hopeless, so I just thought about it.
Just get
I
Packers
would
to do it.
Yeah, right. It'd be a fucking cowboy hat that's got MS Paint writing on it.
It would have been better than what they could have produced.
Oh, well, it wouldn't have been... I should have got Bosk to do it.
Boss will listen to this and we'll do it for you. Hey, boss, please do it.
Bosk, can I please have a Make Collingwood Great Again hat?
Black and white colours, or will the red and white do?
Yes. No. Make the hat black. Thank you.
Seriously, like, do people have an original thought at any moment? Like,
No.
I just can't. I don't
No,
know.
it's
But
all
I think
funny.
it's funny that that's what he chose. Like, it's sort of like, is that really the message you want to send? A egomaniac president making a broad statement without any context, without any reasoning or like actual substance behind it. Is that really
Not
what
to
Eddie
mention
Maguire,
that-
what the message Eddie Maguire wants to send?
A president whose constituents are probably feeling a large portion of buyer's remorse as well.
Yes. Eddie would, like, maybe he's being funny, but surely, regardless of that, you want to distance yourself as far from that as you fucking can.
I mean, I suppose you didn't have any, Hitler speeches translated in Google.
Well, according to Retia, he did. The AA squad was announced. A couple of interesting selections. What do we got?
Big boy was so robbed. So robbed.
Well, I
He
agree.
really should have been in the squad.
Cameron Pedersen should have been in the squad over the...
Well, that goes without saying.
Marcus Bontempelli was in on Reputation.
Yep. Tex saying...
Oh, Tex. I don't
Tex was
understand that.
Very lucky.
Why
But
is
it-
Tom Jonas near the team as well? He's a fucking sniping little bitch.
Who is Tom Jonas?
He's in there so they can say,
Thanks,
hey, we know
Barrett.
who you are now.
No, he was in there by mistake.
Homsh.
Toby Green probably shouldn't have been in as well. He only played 16 games, that's not enough.
Yeah, but he did sick kung fu. But he was
Mitch Duncan was robbed.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I thought Cochin
and
was
uh,
apparently
stiff.
Scott Selwood should have been in the team over his brother, isn't that right?
Oh, I'm just pumping up Scooter's tyres there because he was he has had a fucking good year.
I don't think he's been all Australian calibre just quietly.
Has anyone at Geelong not had a good year, Teach?
Oh, of course they have. We've got Potato Tui. Everyone rates him. He gets caught with the footy that often. It's, what a football. What I'll do. I might have a kick at the football here. Oh, Dad, I've been caught holding the ball.
One of the fucking recruits of the year, I'd have to say.
Has Reece Stanley turned out this year, Teach?
Oh, he's fucking let me down big time.
And this time last year you were calling him a gun.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, paid overs because Hugh Goddard hasn't done anything.
Hey, he's
Yeah,
been injured. That's injury
he's been a
trolling.
bit shit.
Oh, injury trolling. How many games did Nathan Freeman play this year?
Fucking hell.
He is building form to be AFL ready next year. He's had fantastic season in the VFL.
Maybe AFLX ready next year.
His hamstrings are no longer fucked thanks to St Kilda's medical department.
And it only took how long?
Well, it took 2 years to reverse damage. Over 3.
2 years. Fuck, that's funny.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, nor is fixing hamstrings.
That's right, because you've got an infinite amount of time for him to
At
play.
least we fixed O'Meara's knees, so that trade looks slightly less
Yeah,
bad now.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, we've got it on good authority that his
Small
knee
steps.
didn't fall off.
My favourite rebounding defender made it.
Yeah, Robertson, I was going to say.
Oh.
Dylan. Or Dennis, whatever his name is.
I thought he was lucky as
Dan will
shit to
be
make
happy.
it that.
Oh, actually, speaking of Dennis, can we just mention that Dennis Armfield got chaired off?
Dan's
Oh,
not here though, it doesn't
I know,
matter.
but it's just like,
Is that perhaps why Dan's not here? Like, he just... A couple of weeks ago when we brought up the prospect of fucking Dennis Armfield getting chaired off, I think that was Dan's last episode, and from that point he's just said, fuck it, I'm not into football anymore.
This is your
This is the world we live in.
He's gone to a Buddhist temple to order to meditate to get
he's not
rage.
Teffy.
Buddhist.
Yes, Buddhist. Basil Zempalis, the Buddhist.
Zempalis.
What about Koch, Starburns? You bit spewing?
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't make it. At least Pendlebury didn't get his traditional picked on name nomination. They gave Tex was the man this year, I think.
Jeremy Howe played it. Oh,
Yeah, but he deserved to.
Oh, remember when you said he'd just be a highlight reel?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And that's pretty much what he is.
Almost a coaching masterstroke from Paul Roos there to send him down back in his last years at Melbourne.
Howe took a mark of the year on the weekend. It was a fucking good mark.
It looked identical to the other one, and it was on top of Petrarca's head, which is even more delicious.
I'm sensing this angst towards Christian Petrarca Morgs. I'm wondering what this is.
I just don't like him.
Any particular reason?
Is it 'cause he's a basketballer?
Punchable head?
Oh, yeah, punchable head, like arrogant as fuck.
He's apparently a real cheap twat.
But you're not butthurt at all about picking
No, I'm
concussions
serious.
and
It's
Carlton
like
ahead of him.
when I was
Oh, God.
when I was at uni, there was big rumours going around.
The
He was the
concussion.
cheapest cunt.
He was what, sorry?
He was the biggest cheap cunt around. Like he had to go to some hairdresser because he had an expired concession card and cracking the shits at him. He's an entitled bitch.
Oh, you shouldn't have picked Carlton.
Hey, Paddy will be back and he will be better.
Anything else on the AA squad?
Seb Ross. doing us
Nathan
proud.
Freeman's hamstring.
It's good to have a Watson who's,
Oh.
not a drug-teeding little wanker. Doing it under his own effort. Hard work.
Anybody else that we want to talk about in the All-Australian squad?
I don't know how Zorko managed.
Have you been watching football this year?
He's been very good.
Yeah, that said, if more teams tagged him, maybe not, but he's been pretty good. He was basically the best player on the ground when you played him a few weeks ago, even though you beat him by 10 goals.
Yeah, well, I guess,
Trent Cotchin, Luke Parker, Brodie Grundy, Clayton Oliver, Zach Tui.
Clayton Oliver got left out. That is unprecedented. Yeah, I got nothing else on this. Anything?
Surely some of the Crows will have to miss out.
Yeah,
like
well,
Tex and-
I think the shit will hit the fan if Tex makes the team.
If Tex makes the team and Ben Brown doesn't make the team, it's disgusting.
Agreed.
Trelaw shouldn't make the team.
No, but Howe should.
Uh-huh.
Howe and Yo on the flanks. Back
Yo,
flanks.
Jeff Garlett, go and get fucked.
Neville Jetta.
Nah, Jetta probably deserves
Jetta's probably one of those ones. Jetta doesn't outrage
Right,
me.
well-
He makes me raise my eyebrows, but I go, he usually looks pretty solid when they play.
Like they usually fit in one small lockdown defender, and the past couple of years it's always been Nick Smith. So I guess he's just taken that spot this year. I reckon he will make
Yes.
the final 22.
I'm really angry at that. Jeff fucking Garlett.
At least he's an ex of
What
those.
about Cruiser
I'm
ahead of
doing
Grundy?
proud for that. Cruiser ahead of McAvoy, thank you very much. What a fucking
Cruiser's-
Funny how
disgrace that was.
Adelaide are on top of the ladder and they've got like 74, but Geelong only have 2 because they only have 2 players.
I think I'm responsible for Grundy not making All-Australian. I called it like this year.
That's a bit, I reckon that's a bit of a snub. I reckon he deserved
He
it.
did fade a little bit, but I guess Collingwood got better and he stopped standing out so much, so maybe there's a bit
It was
of that.
pretty easy to fade when you
that
suspend.
gets suspended.
Oh, yeah. Well, he should learn to tackle, just like
Oh,
Dangerfield.
well, I hope Ben Brown's recovered from his fucking season-ending fucking head injury that he didn't have.
A minute ago it was a disgrace if you get left out, and now you're talking about him like he's King Carlton.
Nathan Freeman.
Of Ben Carton.
Anyways, apparently the Perth Stadium is going to open with an NRL game.
Oh,
Correct.
Well,
nice.
it's going to be more high-scoring than a Freo game,
Well,
so...
I think there's a solution here. Both WA clubs wanted to play the first game, and maybe now they can give Freo the first game and then West Coast the first AFL game. Ross will get him up for a rugby game. He'll probably score more points. And really, look at some of the players they got. They got Harley Bennell. They don't have Yaron anymore, but
Cam McCarthy.
Cam
Daniel
McCarthy.
Pierce, according to the Freo supporters in the box.
They've got a couple of, players who would fit right in the NRL, shitting in hotel rooms and that. Anyway, question time, and we'll begin with Cooksen. You had a question.
Yes, since Stanton is retiring, who is going to take over being booed from Brett Stanton from the Essence fans?
Shit, take your pick. We hate them all, don't we?
No.
Yeah,
The Essendon supporters boo. The one of their own they boo.
I could see Heppel, just short stepping a few and...
Like,
You
Heppel's
can't
too
do
much
that.
of a goo chugger.
Tom
He's too
Bell
much of a goo chugger.
Chambers or Cale Hooker.
Could be Goddard.
Goddard. Yeah, I like that cookie. Do you reckon he'd
Cale
cry
Hooker.
or point?
Oh.
Do you reckon he'd point him out in the crowd?
He'll try to point them out. He'll be like Adam Goods on cocaine. Just pointing everywhere. There'll be no supporters.
Anything else on this?
How's your movie going, Goddard? I've got another question. How long will it take for Hodge to become a fatty?
6 months.
Happened already, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It'll never happen because he's on a clearly superior diet now to when he started with all that light and easy. That'll keep him light and breezy. So, easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl.
So it's not the meth that's doing it for him.
Ilksy wants to know, after copying the Geelong... I don't even know if this is a question, but it's very long-winded. After copying the Geelong review from 2006...
Sounds a bit like he's melty.
So, I'll read it out and you tell me what you think. After copying the Geelong review from 2006, where the Cats had an in-depth review and ultimately decided to retain Bomber Thompson, albeit with lesser duties around the club to focus on his head coaching role, will this upcoming successful period see Collingwood win 3 flags a year apart, i.e. 2007, 9 and 11, or will Collingwood rise above and follow Hawthorn's three-peat lead 14 to 16? As a side note, seeing as Richmond have also copied this model with master coach Dimmer Hardwick, how will the AFL determine which of these clubs will win the flags? Go, Morgs.
No, you go.
I don't know what to say. Please, you say something.
Well, there's no third option there, which is neither of those things will happen because both of those sides have shit lists.
North will do it.
That's just when you thought it couldn't get more ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, because I was 100% serious about that.
Didn't you say it sounds like he's melting?
Oh, it does. It's a noble effort by Ilksy to try and cover up his very, very, very sore nose that he has right now. But you're not fooling anyone, mate. Like, unfortunately, you weren't on the I Believe in Bucky. So you was trying to comfort yourself with these little fairytales.
What are you doing?
Wind tunnel.
Do a bit of scratch work on the microphone. Yeah. Okay, so moving right along.
All right, and the last question, which is, I think he just does this on purpose now. Bosk wants to know, are we a bunch of cruel, heartless bastards for laughing at Melbourne, a team that hasn't made the finals in 11 years? Ha 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 ha.
No, we're not, because they brought it on themselves.
Bosk is
Isn't that
leading
what
us
we
with
do
the
around
question
here
again
anyway?
by laughing halfway through it.
What we should do is find the good Melbourne supporters and give them a good hug.
Unfortunately,
Well,
Gornish didn't want to show up.
And I'm not going to Traralgon to do that, so I'm sorry, Gornish, but I'm laughing.
We can give him a virtual hug because he is actually a good bloke and a good supporter, but he's the only one.
The only one.
Oh, harsh on Benoit.
The rest of them are cunts too.
Oh, yeah, forgot Benoit. We'll add him in there, but that's 2.
What about Boosh?
Nah, fuck him.
I like Sir Hugh Percy, he can get a hug.
Yeah, he's all right.
But all the ones that were fucking, uppity in the middle of the season, same in top 4 and defending Clayton Oliver's virtue for no reason. You can
Talking about
fuck.
unprecedented stuff.
All deserved it. I don't care if I like you, if you come here. I don't care about anything. You deserve it.
You're very quiet.
Something weird's happening there.
I don't know what's wrong.
Maybe Menegola popped up in a lounge room unannounced.
Not Menegola, it's fucking Jed Buse.
Oh, Jed Buse, yeah. That'd be a bit disconcerting, wouldn't it?
I think we got it this week on the Bay. What do we got? Thread of the week.
Did like Mothra's Western Bulldogs Destination Club, Fred. That was a bit funny.
Except that they didn't get clanger makers in the end.
They didn't get clanger makers. They're not getting Lever. I think their only hope now is Darcy Moore, who has had a rift with newly reappointed coach Nathan Buckley.
Because Buckley lacks emotional intelligence and stuff like that.
Because Buckley is a bit of a Jared McVeigh, let's face it.
Any other threads?
It's hard to go past, after 11 years, Melbourne are finally back in the finals.
That was quite good.
And the fact that it is done by Always Ballin', who is, of course, a West Coast supporter, just makes it all the more sweeter.
It's quality, and it got moved to the Bay because basically the trolling was becoming so lolsy that they couldn't keep it on the main board. So it's ours now. Thank you for that one.
Benoit's gun get fucked, Melbourne gun get fucked. Everything was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good, yeah.
I liked Wonka's effort, which I don't think had been started this time last week. Do you suffer shocking discrimination just because you're a Bay 13 poster?
That was a good one.
That's my favourite.
Essendon finals place most justified was also a good Fred.
Oh, you Kool-Aid chugger, are you?
Oh, Zach is a good poster. He deserves some, pat on the back.
Nah, I can't give him a pat on the back for that.
It made me laugh.
I haven't read the thread. It might be funny, but
thread with the most potential of the week. Disloyal Meme Man, AFL edition.
That's only just started.
Yeah, it's got potential. It's the Jared Waite of threads.
Mhm.
And it's, of course, started by the best poster on the page.
So what are we going to give it to?
I reckon the go and get fucked melt thread.
I'm feeling after 11 years, Melbourne are back in finals.
I think that one's going to win.
Yeah.
Flog of the week time. I'm going to begin with a cumulative nomination for the past 6 weeks. And I've not done it because I've generally always had a nomination, but it's Game of Thrones is finally over for the year, all 7 episodes. And basically one of the worst threads on this, and I still post in it and I still read it, but one of the worst threads to read on the site over the last nearly 2 months has been the Game of Thrones thread, purely because of fucking Seeds and Vader. It's like seeing fucking hodgepodge AFLX sort of garbage in that thread of everything's shit, everything's shit, everything's shit. And it has not been perfect. There have been some very silly things, but it's just been ridiculous. They've been going at it from week 1, and I would say read it, but don't read it. Someone needs to turn their autism off in that thread.
And this time it's not even Silence Alarm.
Anyone else got any noms?
Not really. It's been a bit quiet.
Vesty for probably complaining too much about getting the boys the Welcher badge.
Oh, can we get nuggets for Welching?
Oh, yeah. Fucking needs to be nailed.
Anyone else?
Uh,
Morg's disappearing's kind of lost the opportunity to nom anyone here.
You know what? Most of the Melbourne board.
I feel like Morgs was probably going to nominate Pups.
What do Pops do?
He goes for Spurs still, and the Dogs still.
Anyone else? What are we going to give it to?
Anyone on the St Kilda board who says signing Motlop is a good idea?
I think it would be a great thing for you if you St Kilda signed. What does everyone else think?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to create a few aliases to bump that one along.
Butters fan.
Motlop to Seaford. Motlop to Raven.
Motlop to McCartan. Hey, they could play in the VFL together.
Yeah, exactly.
Motlop to Freeman.
Just please, for the love of God, get Carlton to get Rockcliffe and back fuck Motlop.
Still on Rocker.
Good.
All right, so who are we giving it to?
The Welcher.
Welcher, because that's kind of behaviour we need to discourage on the Bay, I believe.
And dishonourable to Pack Lunch, who cannot let the fact that Jasny is an emotional supporter go. Let it go, Pack Turd. Let it go. The verdict has been handed down. Stop appealing.
I think Packed Lunch is just emotionally unintelligent.
I wouldn't want to tell him that.
And that leaves us with, well, nothing much else to say except that, yeah, I guess it's good to have Teach back.
Gee, thanks.
So I'm going to try and bring back some things that we've been discussing throughout the year. What do you think of the standard of football this season, Teach? Not just the standard, but how has this season been fantastic, or do you say more average or shit?
No, I think it's tapered a little bit. I think that there's a little bit too much. I think the stoppages are overplanned. I reckon that...
So it hasn't been an entertaining season?
Not as much as previous seasons.
This man knows his football. That's right.
Fucking
Every
hell.
team is average or shit.
So yeah, I just think that the over-possession makes the game look scrappier.
Yeah, it is great to have another fucking intelligent football fan on here with me. Because when Dan left, I was badly outnumbered in the intelligence department. So, yeah, welcome back, Teach. I've missed you. I've missed you in more ways than one.
Oh, that's lovely of you to say. I'm getting a warm feeling in my cockles.
Teach, Cooksen's the Andrew Mackey of podcasts. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know whether that badge is well earned. I haven't heard enough sledging out of Cookie for starters.
Whilst skiing on the achievements of others.
Yeah, and for mine, Cookie doesn't bomb enough goals from outside 50. I think he chip scabs a bit too much in front of goal.
Well, I think you're making the case.
Great, I'm Josh fucking Jenkins.
No. If you're chip scabbing goals, then you are the Andrew Mackey of podcasts.
No. Mackey's gets it from outside 50. He runs at the sticks, and you just know it's going through.
Now, teachers living in this weird alternate reality where fucking Andrew Mackie is a gun and Zach Toohey is horrible at football. So I think
that alternate reality where Mackie is not a triple premiership player. Yeah.
Teach is probably fucking calling Cookie the Zach Toohey of podcasts.
No, he's closer to the closer to the Motlop of the podcast.
You're not a very nice man, Teach.
You're not a very inclusive man.
I'm not here to be nice and inclusive.
Teach. So, what do you think of AFLX?
Let me see. I don't even know what it fucking is.
That makes most of us.
It's 7-a-side on a soccer field, and Gillen wants to play it with real players as exhibition games.
Has it been happening?
No, it was meant to happen for the bye week, but then Lethlean got sacked for not keeping it in his pants.
Oh, Jesus. I couldn't think of anything worse, really. I'd rather watch fucking rugby.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty
Rugby
shit. Like, of all the things to get sacked for, that would be a really shit way to go.
It would be a really shit way to go. That's kind of like saying, I'm fucking useless at everything.
So, what do you feel should be the penalty for being caught committing an act of terrorism?
Well, it depends upon the act. I mean, because you could equate what the Bombers supporter did by taking that wheelchair into the ground to get a better seat.
We're talking real acts. We're talking like bombing and shit. What do you feel should be done to perpetrators of that?
Well, I mean, most of the time they blow themselves up, so there's nothing left to take care of, which is a good thing.
What if the ones that get arrested after the fact that help plan it?
Yeah, like the guy with the Sydney airport plot.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard that, if you whack the tyre pump at the servo up someone's ass and hit the button, it causes an internal explosion. So I reckon that would probably equate with a fair and reasonable punishment.
Well, that's not so far off what we've done this year.
I like the heft of your jib.
Teach.
Yes.
Do you believe it is reasonable if you take a mark seconds before the siren and the game is already over, you're lining up for goal, your kick cannot affect the result of the game?
Yes.
Do you believe that is a selfish act, making it all about you? Should you not think of the fans that this is irrelevant? You shouldn't take this kick at goal.
Funnily enough, I have a story which equates to exactly this thing happening.
Do tell.
So, a good friend of mine who I worked with, his brother had money on Geelong to win the 2009 grand final by less than 10 points. And that was going to happen before Max Rook lined up for the last kick. The St Kilda players responded.
You must really think that was piss poor from Rook, yeah?
No, I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, fuck you.
Because this guy, he stood to make a lot of money off the fact that if Max Rook didn't take the kick, Geelong would have won by less than 10 points. He would have collected. Max Rook goes back, takes the kick, no one on the mark, dribbles it through, gets a goal. The guy blows a grand. And I thought, that's pretty funny.
It is funny. Thank
no,
you for
it's not.
recognising
It's not at all funny. It's selfish, and it's making it all about yourself. And it's.
I think it's needed because you'd never know about percentage.
Oh, that's yeah. I agree with you there.
Well, speaking of percentage, Melbourne missing out by
just ask Melbourne supporters.
Actually, that goal could have been the one goal because
Gornage actually tagged me and said that he hates Fasolo more than I do right now. But just on the percentage argument, if Melbourne had to put Brisbane away 2 weeks ago, they'd still be playing finals, but they let them get back into the game. So I meant to mention that, but I forgot.
Yeah, they just expected it all along. Just no heart in either of their two last games.
Teach, how will you be voting on the plebiscite?
Probably not at all. But if I do
take a stand either way.
Look,
he's taking a stand firmly on the fence.
Yes.
Why should straight people just be the ones to suffer? Gays should be allowed to suffer too. And
that was my point exactly.
I would vote yes just to piss off Bosk.
Do you feel it is fair if you wanted to, say, enter another country to pay $7,500 to have to enter that country as a fee?
Where the fuck is this coming from?
This is how much it costs to live in Canada.
Tell you where it's not going to, Canada.
$7,500 to go to Canada. You
No,
kidding?
750k, but Dan's just an idiot who can't do maths.
I don't understand the question. $750k to go to Canada?
Yeah, you have to pay that. Would you pay that to go to live in Canada?
To get a
Permanent
their
residency,
version of a
isn't it?
green card.
You don't have to pay it. You have to have that.
No,
so
you have
can be like an
Teach, you have to
investor.
pay it. Would you pay it?
You have to
It's a nice place. I've been there a lot of times. My brother lives there, but fuck no, I wouldn't pay that.
And finally, heads or tails?
Tails.
That's all the questions I had. Did anybody else have any?
What were your thoughts on Dangerfield getting suspended?
That was fucking bullshit. Because the Messiah does not get suspended. He's allowed to kill, maim and injure out there and not get suspended.
So Gary Ablett's senior treatment?
Oh, Gary Ablett Senior was a fucking thug.
Yeah, you killed a hooker.
Oh, Jesus.
Teach, have you ever seen a prawn with wings?
A prawn with wings. Can't say that I have, and I'm wondering where that's coming from.
Cheat grounds. Your thoughts?
What do you mean cheat grounds? There's no such fucking thing.
Cheat grounds. Grounds where teams have an unfair advantage because the grounds are not to AFL standard or specification.
Like Cardinia Park in the SCG.
Oh, what? You're not used to playing on fucking grass, you poofters. That's what we've got down there.
Doesn't
It's
sound like a man
beautiful
voting
surface.
yes to piss Bosk off.
It is a beautiful surface. It's the dimensions required to play AFL football on. It's a magnificent stadium.
No, it's not.
No,
the
it's not.
dimensions
It's like
required.
40 meters
Fucking
too
long.
narrow.
It's long and thin. It's like the reverse of Motlop.
Just because your teams are just so fucking weak and weak-willed, you can't have your own ground. You want us
Not
to
all
give
of us
up
can be in a
stuff.
marginal seat leeching off the taxpayer like fucking Geelong.
Yep, pork barreling at its worst.
Yeah, Porkins pork barrels.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll save you seats next time you come to play at our ground. I'll save you seats.
No one fucking wants to go visit Geelong. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Geelong Flogs lighting the way for Gaz.
Oh, what was this?
Have your headlights on if you want Gary Ablett to come back. I mean, that's a bit of a sham. Don't you have your headlights on at night anyway? Oh, look, all
No,
those
they're
people
Geelong,
want Gary
obviously.
Ablett to come back.
Well,
No, they just don't want to fucking crash at night.
Yeah, well, in Geelong they take their headlights off so that they can rob people easier.
Yeah, especially after the games.
Yeah, especially after the wins. Yes, when the crime rate
That's
goes
in
through
the
the roof.
that's in the rough side of town, the north side, not the good part.
The
As
rough
you know,
side,
Starburns-
aka all of Geelong.
No, not the good part, as you know, Starburns as East Geelong.
East Geelong, the crime central of Victoria.
No, it's a beautiful place.
Oh, actually, one more question. Have you ever taken or taught piano lessons?
Yes, I have.
Which did you take or teach?
I took them as a young boy, and I fucking hated it because I thought, I want to play guitar because girls like guys who play guitar, not fags who play piano.
Real inclusive, Teach.
I'm sure he means it in the nicest possible way.
Thoughts on Velcro wallets, Teach?
Velcro wallets. Well, you wouldn't lose it. At least it's got that going for it. But,
Why?
Yeah, you're not going to pick up any birds with those, are you?
One more, I guess. I'm kind of go with a leading question like Bosk. Teach, what's your favourite brand of baby formula, and why is it A2?
Well, I know this one. I know AT's got to do with something that's good for you in milk, right?
Yep.
But brand of baby formula, fuck, I've never bought any, so I couldn't say. But I know that if I needed any, I'd come straight to you.
Smart man. If a guy who sold you a lotto ticket said to you, "See you soon, boy," as you were walking out the door, what would be your reaction?
Well, see you soon, boy. I'd be quite concerned that he might be following me into a place where, I might be alone and he could grab me from behind. I don't believe in luck, though. I don't think I'd be going back with the winning ticket, but that's a pretty weird thing for someone to say.
I think that's everything. Did you notice that we didn't review the Geelong Giants game?
Yeah, I'll let you get away with that,
There wasn't much to say out of that. Geelong smacked them.
pretty much.
Alright, so this was the Flogcast for the bye week. Starburns joined by Penal,
See ya.
Grille,
See you later.
Cookie.
Do I get a standing ovation like Andrew Mackie or like cheering off?
Yeah,
I told you,
are
Stephen,
you retiring?
No. God,
Good.
no.
You can get a gold badge though.
And returning for his first time all year, our pop-up sprinkler, The Teach.
Au revoir.
We also had Morgs, but she disappeared somewhere in there, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week when the bye is over.